Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. On behalf of Women and Young Members Excellence Committee of ICAI, it's my pleasure to welcome all of you to Yashaswini, an Ideal series and the 54th session of the same. Yashaswini and Ideal is a Wednesday series program conducted by WYMEC for women entrepreneurs, for women CS and by women CS. This is an extension of the Sky High Symposium, which concluded with its 100 episodes. It's one of the committee's initiatives to not only disseminate information to women members on technical updation and non technical skills, but also to empower and inspire women members to come at the forefront and realize their verbal skills at the public platform. Today, we have Hinal Furia, a seasoned tax and finance professional with a double graduate and postgraduate degrees and also CFP from USA. After working with EY and Interpublic Group, she founded her own firm. She speaks regularly on TDS, GST at WIRC, CVOCA, and various other professional forums. Over to you, Hinal Furia, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Gina. It was a wonderful introduction. I'll just share my screen and, then we can start. All right. Is my screen visible? Just give me a heads up so I can start with the...
Yes, ma'am. Visible.
Okay, thank you so much. So today we're going to discuss about TDS defaults, like while filing the returns, if you make some certain mistakes, how basically we are going to solve those errors. So the topics that I'm going to cover today are section 201, 1, subsection 1 and 201, subsection 1A. Notices and defaults, then compliance check utility for section 206AB and CCAA. Now, this section is not applicable from 1st April 2025, but I've just kept a few slides on it so that, everyone is aware about what the provision was there before. Then the concept of lower TDS and its requirements, TDS challan correction, TDS refund, and TDS return correction. So these are the 5 topics I'm going to talk about today. Starting with section 2011 and 1A, that is when you get notices for defaults and the interest that is payable. So basically in this, under this subtopic, I'm going to talk about the TDS notices, the steps that you need to take to resolve those notices, then the TDS return defaults, precautions to be taken, how to download a justification report. So first, what does section 201 and 1A say? So 201 says if a person does not deduct tax or does not pay, after so deducting fails to pay, then the assessee shall be in default and has to pay interest. So 201 1A tells us the percentage of interest that is payable. So if there is a delay in deducting the TDS, then you have to pay 1% per month or therefore. And it starts from the month in which the TDS was deductible to the actual date on which you have made the payment. And the second sort of penalty or interest liability comes when you have deducted the TDS, but you have not paid it to the government. So in that case, the interest rate is 1.5 per month, and it starts from the day on which you had deducted the TDS and the actual date when you have deposited to the government. Moving on. So basically, the TDS notices that you get are computerized because now we file the returns and everything, and all the processing also happens online through traces. Now, obviously, first thing is TDS returns are filed. Then the department processes whatever returns are filed. And if there is any arithmetical error or incorrect claim, or in case the rate of deduction is not accordant with the provision of the act, or there is any interest liability or late payment fees when you file the return late, the department will send you 2 types of notices. The first notice is 200A, which is if the original TDS return has been filed, then you'll return you'll receive the intimation under section 20A. In case if you have filed the return and there is some required, then you will get the intimation under 194 for the rectification of the TDS return. Now, I've just noted down few of the few types of defaults for which you may get a notice. So short payment, interest on short payment, interest on late payment, short deduction, interest on short deduction, interest on late deduction, interest on payment default, and short payment, late payment fees. Here are some precautions that you can take in order to avoid the defaults. Deduct the TDS as per the rule and deposit to the government on timely basis. Second, stay up to date with the prevailing rate of deductions. As you are aware, the TDS rate keeps on undergoing change. While depositing the tax, use Challan 201. Quote the correct TAN number, assessment year, section, minor head, major head, etc. While filing the return, please check the challan and put the correct details like the BSR code, the challan number, date, amount, etc. There should not be any difference in the amount quoted as deducted and deposited column of the deductee row for the same deductee. Please also validate all the PANs. You can download a TAN PAN master from traces and you'll be able to verify all the PANs. Okay, so I'm going to discuss about how you can what is justification report basically. So I've given a case over here. Mr. A filed the TDS return in 26Q form for Q2 on 31st October 24. After 3 working days, he received an intimation under section 20A as it was the original return. As per the intimation, the department had raised default amount under short payment, short deduction and interest. Now, Mr. A got confused as he did not understand which transaction had led to deduction or which challan had been short paid. So, in order to get answers to the questions, you need to download a justification report, which is available on Traces. Once you download the justification report, you will exactly come to know that, what is the default, why the notice has been raised. So, here are the steps of how to download the justification report. You need to log into the Traces website, go to defaults, request for justification report download. Once you do the selection, you will get a box where you'll have to give all the details like the financial year, quarter, form type, for which you want to download the justification report. Now, after putting all these details, there are 2 ways to verify or, to do the KYC basically. One is using DSE, the other one is using without DSE. In case if you are going for the DSE one, then please note that, your profile has the correct DSE, like, of the authorized person. This is how I've just given a screenshot of how the traces will look once you go on defaults. And, then you have to fill in all these details in order to download the justification report. Now, once you have requested for the justification report, you need to download it also. So, in order to download, you'll have to write the token number of the original TDS return, then enter the challan details, that is BSR code, challan number, amount. Then there are 3 types of, you need to put challan with 3 PAN. In case if you don't have challan with 3 PANs, then 2 PANs or 1 PAN, like that. That is how the KYC is done over here. Option 2 that I mentioned, if you are doing it with a DSC, then you can just click on validate DSC. You need to have that e-signer installed already on your device so that you can verify the DSC using that token number. Now, these are the steps. Once you have requested for the justification report, how do you download it? So you go on the downloads, requested download, you select the justification report. Over here, you'll be able to see it submitted, but it will be, you cannot, once you submitted, you need to wait for a few hours. Once the status is available, only then you will be able to download it. It will be downloaded in a zip file. So I mean, from the zip file, it's easier if you convert it to a Excel file so that you'll be able to see everything, all the entries and everything properly. So the password to open the justification report is JR. You put your TAN number, then there is your quarter, the form number, financial year. So this is the format in which you put the password, and you'll be able to view it. Now, in order to convert this report into a Excel file, as you can see on the screen, there is an option click here. So once you click here, you'll get this sort of a page will open where you can download traces justification report generality utility needs Excel 200 or 203 or later. So basically, once you download this utility, you'll be able to convert your justification zip file that you've downloaded into Excel. Now, once you download it and open the utility, this is how it looks. So over here, in the first link, you have to give the link, you have to link the place where you have downloaded the justification report, that is the TXT file. And in the second, you have to mention the space where you want to download the, excuse me, the Excel. And then you click on generate report and the text file will be converted into an Excel file. So basically you will be able to see whatever the defaults are, and you can resolve the defaults later. So now moving to the next topic, the compliance check utility for section 20AB and 20CCA. Now this has been discontinued from 1st April 25, but I'm just showing you the steps, how you would ideally see if the compliances is done on. So you will log into your income tax website using the TAN of the deductor, go to pending actions, portal, reporting portal. Then you have to select new registration. You have to select the form type. Over here, you have to write compliance check, and then you have to select the company. Once you do this, you will have to enter the entity name and the address. Then you can add the principal officer on the below button. Then you need to enter all the details of the principal person, click on submit, and there will be an acknowledgement of, you'll receive acknowledgement of this submission. Now, once the registration request has been approved by the income tax department, you will get an email notification where the principal officer along with the IT, RDN details and login details will be given to you. Now, once you have those details, go to the portal. On the left side of the reporting portal homepage, click on login. Login is required through the principal officer's PAN and password as it's received in the email. You have to put those details. After logging in, you click on the compliance check for section 20AB and CCA. You'll have to put your PAN. There are two options, like you can put a single PAN or you can put a bulk PAN. In case you put a single PAN, you'll get the details over here. If you want to put a bulk PAN, there's a CSV file which is downloaded. You have to put all the PANs in that file and upload it. All right. So now coming to the next topic. The next topic is about lower TDS concept and requirements. All right. Now in this, I'm going to tell you what is the concept and the documents that you may be required to be presented to the AO in order to get the lower deduction TDS. Now, the question is, why do you apply for lower TDS, deduction? The reason would be, that the company maybe, suppose it's an IT company, it is whatever invoices it raise, the suppliers are supposed to deduct 10% TDS. It could be possible that, the TDS that is deducted for this company is much more than what is actually payable. And it may put the company into working capital issues. So what the company does is it goes to the AO and it requests for a lower deduction or a nil TDS rate of TDS so that, lesser amount is deducted towards TDS and the client can give them more money which will, obviously be beneficial to the company. So that is the concept of the lower TDS. Now, lower TDS certificate is granted under section 197, and the TDS has to be deducted as per the certificate. So although you may apply for a nil rate certificate, but it's not necessary that the AO will give you nil rate. The AO can give you 1%, 2%, or whatever he wishes, or however he wishes. Now, I've given an example. A deductee received a low TDS certificate for section 194J for transaction with B deductor, and the transaction amount is 3 lakh rupees. Now, the certificate mentions the rate of 6.5. So by here, the client is able to save 3.5% of TDS. Otherwise, like the normal rate would be 10%. Now, I'm giving you a list of documents that you will have to carry with you when you go to the AO, when you approach the AO for low withholding certificate. Now, first thing you need is a signed Form 13, copies of return of income, along with the enclosures, acknowledgement of previous 3 financial years, copy of assessment order for previous 3 financial years. In case, if the business or profession is eligible for audit, then you have to provide the 3 years audit report as well. Then you require the projected profit and loss account for the current financial year, computation of income statement for previous 3 financial years, and estimated computation for the current financial year. You'll have to carry the copy of PAN card, TDS account number of all parties responsible for paying you, ETDS return acknowledgement for previous 2 financial years, estimate income during the year, any other documents that depends on the nature of your income, and whatever is required by the AO. So it depends on those things also. Then if there is TDS default earlier, you have to submit all the documents and you have to clear all your TDS defaults before you approach the AO for this certification. Now the next topic is TDS challan correction and TDS refund. So in this topic, I'll be obviously talking about how, what things you can correct in a TDS challan. And in case if you have paid excess TDS, then how you can claim a refund for TDS. So I'm going to give you basically a couple of examples, and through examples, I'm going to explain you these concepts. So first example is Miss Deena was making a payment of TDS, and while making the payment, she wrong section in the challan. Now she's wondering if she can change the section in the challan. Okay. So in case the wrong section has been selected and the payment for the challan was made through bank, then you will have to go physically to the bank to make the correction. If it is done online, then you'll have to submit the correction request on the Altas. And in case if you want to go to the AO, then you can go for both type of payments, physical as well as online funds. You can go to the AO. Now, what are the due dates, like, where, for changing few things in the challan? So, you can change PAN or TAN within 7 days, assessment year within 7 days, total amount within 7 days, major, minor, and nature of payment. You can make these changes within 3 months of the challan date. Now, challan correction by assessee in case of physical and each payment modes. You have to submit the correction request in a required format with the AO. The correction can be done for above all the, whatever fields we talk about. And AO will make the correction in genuine cases. Now, while applying for change of TAN in the challan, the AO may ask for NOC from the person whose TAN we have mentioned by mistake in the challan. So it's better to, take the NOC from the person whose TAN was mentioned. And you will also have to carry the bank statements to verify that actually the payment has been made by you. Now, in case if you're doing challan correction online, then challan correction facility is available for unclaimed and unmatched challans. Digital signature is mandatory. So you have to register on Traces or requesting the online challan correction. No approval from assessing officer is required for making the following changes. So we spoke about 7 changes, correct? But for these 4, you don't require any approval from the AO. But yes, if you want to change the TAN or the other 2 things, then you will have to go to the AO. There is no option to do it online. So first is you can change your financial year, minor head, major head, and section code. So these are the things that you can change online. And in case if there is any changes that is required under section 195, you cannot do it online. You will still have to go to a AU. Okay, so these are the steps. You need to log into the traces, go to the statement, payment menu, request for all task challan correction. Step 3 is proceed to the checklist page. Now, these are the checklist. Okay, so before you proceed, you have to verify that all these 5 conditions have been followed. So I'll just read out the 5 checklists that is there. Please ensure that your assessing officer is not given credit of the challan manually for which you are submitting the challan correction from the website. Please ensure that there is no online challan correction is in process through traces or challan correction is in TDS, TCS statement through NSDL. Please ensure that no all-task challan correction from the assessing officer is in process. Please ensure no refund request should have been initiated against the all-task challan for which you are submitting the challan correction from the website. Please ensure that your assessing officer should not use the challan for tagging interest fees for which you are submitting the challan. So all these things are clear. Then you click on proceed. Now, once you click on proceed, the next step is you have to select the financial year. You have to like whatever changes you have to select this basically, financial year, major, minor. That is the changes that you require. You have to click on proceed. Once you click on proceed, you will have to enter the challan details for which you want to request the correction. So you put and you click on go. Once you do that, these are there, few things will be auto populated. Then you have to enter the over here you will have to enter the changes that you require. So this will be the blue portion is auto populated, and this will be the changes that you require. So whatever changes from these 4 are required, kindly make the changes and submit. Once you submit it, it will open this page where you will have to review that whatever changes you have made. They will come over here that it is edited like this. Are you okay? If okay, then confirm. Then there will be verification details displayed. As I had mentioned it earlier, in order to request this correction, you have to do the KYC through the DSC. So basically, all the name of the authorized person, the name of the father, designation, place, date, everything will be mentioned. Once you click on submit and you provide the DSC, it will be successfully the request will be successfully processed. Now you need to wait for around usually 3 working days. And then you'll be able to view it. So I'll give you I'm giving you steps over here how to track the correction request that you had requested. So first thing is you log into the traces. Then you can do a search either on the basis of the number or the date in view. So you can see the number or the date over here. Now the system will give all the relevant corrections that you had submitted. If the status is showing submitted to IT, then you will not be able to download the report. If it is processed, then you will be able to see, whether whatever request you had made has been processed or not. If it is rejected, that there will be some reason which is, given that as to why your request was rejected. And in case if it is showing failed, it means that it was not processed due to some technical issue. So that is what is mentioned over here. Now, I'm talking about the next topic, that is refund of excess TDS. It happens so many times that while while filing the challan, many people have paid excess TDS and in order to claim it back from the government, you need to fill a request for it. Now, there are two ways in which you can request a refund. First is online through Traces website. Now, in order to do it online, the challan has to be dated 1st April 2010 or later, and financial year 2007-8, because Traces was started in financial year 2007-8. So any requests which were there before are not available on Traces. So for that, you will have to go to your AO and make a request for the refund process. Now, in order to claim the refund of excess TDS online, you have to register the digital signature of the authorized person on Traces. That is mandatory. There should be no outstanding demand against your TAN. The minimum amount of refund request should be 100 rupees, and maximum could be the amount that is available in the challan, whatever amount is available. All the TDS statement in which the challan has been claimed should have been processed before putting the request. Now, maximum 5 challans can be claimed in one refund request. Now, let's talk about the procedure of how to process this request. So you log into the Traces, you go to statements or the payment tab, request for the refund, then you go to proceed. You select the section under which you want the request. So there are only two options over here: challan under 195 and other than 195. So whatever your case is, select it and then click on add challan after selecting the appropriate reason for refund request. So this is how it looks. So once you request, form is 26B. You have to select refund request for challan under 195 or other. I've selected other. These are basically the notes that I had mentioned that you need to keep in mind before applying for the refund. Now, next you need to select the correct reason for which you're requesting a refund. So I have made a excess payment of tax by mistake and the amount refund claimed is not part of tax deducted or deductible. So that is the reason I have selected, and then I will click on add challan. Then the next step is you have to put the challan details of the challan that you're requesting a refund. Thereafter, it will ask you for the details of TAN name. The TAN and the deductor name will be auto-populated with the communication address. You have to give the bank details to submit for processing. Now, after all this thing is processed, you have to verify the details, click on proceed, review the summary which is shown, click on submit, refund. And then you have to attach the DSE and proceed. Once the request has been done, you will get an acknowledgement of the form 26B that you have submitted. Submit the same acknowledgement number to judicial officer within 14 days. You can track your refund request under the statement and payment tabs. Now, I've just mentioned a few reasons why the refund could be rejected. So the first is there is some demand outstanding against your TAN, or it's associated with the PAN of the deductor or the PAN of the deductor. Then if form 26B is submitted after the expiry of 14 days, request will be rejected due to invalid bank details or invalid address details. Request could also be rejected due to reduction in the available balance in the challan, like the balance that you've mentioned is not available. And submission for challan correction is of the same challan. So these are the few reasons why your request could be rejected. Now next, this is the last topic that I'm going to cover: online TDS return correction. So if you've made some errors in the return, how do you correct it? So I'm going to share 4 cases with you. One is addition of challan and set off of interest levy. Then set off of liability against the available challan, addition or modification of deductee details, and online PAN correction. So these are the 4 topics I'm going to share with you. So here we go. This is the first. Now, Mr. A filed the TDS return of quarter 4 for financial year 1920. Then after 3 working days, he checked the returns status on traces site under the menu, statement payments, statement status, select statement, enter the financial year, quarter, form type, status, and proceed with defaults. Now, Mr. A got confused. He immediately put a request to download justification report to check why the statement had been processed with defaults. As per the justification report, the department had levied interest. Like I have already, in the start of the session, I told you how to download the justification report. Once Mr. A downloaded the justification report, he understood that the department had levied an interest penalty on late payment of TDS of 1,500 rupees. Now, Mr. A remembered that in 1 month he had paid TDS post the due date without paying the interest. So, because of which the department had raised the interest liability. Then he went on the NSDL side and make the interest payment of 2,000 rupees. And he thought that his work is done. He thought the government that now there has nothing to be done because he's made the payment. But he's not correct. He needs to add this challan to the TDS return so that the government understands that this amount that he's paid is towards the late payment fee. So let's see how to do it. So log into your Traces website, go to defaults, request for correction. Enter the required details. There will be a token number of the latest financial year that you need to give. Then correction, you have to select online and you have to submit. Once you submit, go to track correction request, click on view all and check the status. If it is available, you'll be able to make changes. So in the example that I had given you, here the status is available. If you click on it, you will be able to make the changes. Now, select the digital signature, support the KYC or normal KYC. The digital signature support KYC validation screen will appear. And you can make this only if you're registered, if your DSA is registered on the profile. Otherwise, you can go on the profile and register your DSA. So once you click on valid DSC, you will be able to do it. If you are doing it in a normal KYC way, that is also possible. As you can see, that screen is there and you can do it without the DSC as well. Now, after validating the DSC, there will be a one-time KYC page will be displayed in where the financial year quarter form type combination has to be selected by the user and select the certificate, click on sign. Once you do this, the request will be processed. Now, in case if you're doing a normal KYC, then this sort of a page will open wherein you'll have to put your challan details. You'll have to put the financial year and all those details, and you'll have to put the 3 PANs that have been paid through the challan along with the amount. And then you can proceed. Now, you have to select over here types of correction. So you can see over here, there are various types of defaults. Now, in my given example, there was a interest on late payment. All right. So once you go a little on the next little below, you'll be able to, there'll be an option over here saying add challan. So you add challan over here. Once you select on add challan, you'll see all the challans which are available. Now, in my example, as you can see, 22nd August, I had made payment of 2,000 rupees. I'll be selecting this challan. Against this challan, I will be adjusting my 1,500 liability. So you go on the challan, you select, you see everything is proper. Then you put the interest over here, you fill the 2,000 rupees figure, you can check it. Point number 15 says amount claimed as interest. You put the figure 1,500 and you save. Once you save, you'll be able to see that the amount claimed as interest is 1,500 and the balance in the challan is 500. So just verify this. It will be highlighted in orange. Now you click on submit correction statement and then click on confirm and click on correction ready for submission. Now you select the row and click on view statements. Once you click on the view statement, you'll be able to see the statement is submitted for processing and the correction request will be submitted. Then go for defaults to track the correction request and view. You'll be able to see the status it is submitted to IT. So basically, after I've submitted, you can go to defaults and this is how the screen will be shown submitted to IT. Once the status changes to process, that is mostly after 3 working days, it could take longer as well, but minimum 3 working days, you can check again the default status will be processed without defaults. So this is the next step that you just need to check that whatever correction you have done has been made in the system or no. Now the next example I'm going to give you is a company filed the TDS return form 26Q post the due date for Q4 of financial year 2018-19. So the company is now liable to pay late fees of 2,600. Now company has some TDS challans which are not fully consumed. Can the company, like how we did it in the first example, for levy of fees under section 234E of 2,600? And then again add the challan to the statement like how I just showed you. So the answer to this question is the company can pay penalty from any unclaimed challan. There is no need to make fresh payment separately for the late fees. So let's see how we can process this sort of a situation. So you again log into the Traces website. You go to defaults, you request for correction, enter the required details, the financial year, quarter, form type, correction category, and latest accepted token number, and click submit request. Now you select the form type. The token number should be of the latest process statement. The correction category should be online. You can check the correction request by clicking on the correction request and click view all, click on available and do the KYC validation. So I'll just show you how the screen looks. So you have to select type of correction. You have to select pay 220I, LP, LD, interest, date, pay. Then you have to go on view details. Okay. You go on view details. Once you click on this sort of a bar will open. As you can see, it is showing late fee of 2,600, which you need to pay. All right. Now you have to select the challan through which you want to pay this interest. So you select on challan to pay late fee and interest. Now, once you select that, you'll get a list of challans in which the balance is there. Like you can see, for example, in the first challan, there is amount claimed as total deposited is 11,57,090. Yeah. So as you can see, the last challan, 10th October 1, nothing has been claimed. So I have 93. So I'll be paying through this. Now I selected the third challan. Once I select the third challan, you can see this is the amount I've paid towards TDS and this is the amount I've paid towards interest. Now what I will do is I will deduct 2,600 from the TDS amount and I will put it in the figure levy. So this is how I do. I deducted from this amount 2,600 and I put it on levy because I have to pay late filing fee of 2,600. So that's why I will put it in the levy column and make these changes. Once this change is done, you'll be able to see that 2,600 is reflected in levy column. All right. And since I've selected, now my default that you can see is 0 because I have selected that this challan to make the payment. All right. Then click on submit correction request, click on confirm, click on correction ready for submission, select the row, view the statement, submit for processing. You can check the status post 3 working days. Now let's talk about if there is some correction required in the amount that you've put in a particular PAN. So Mr. B had paid professional fees to Vivek Shah of rupees 25,000 rupees, and he deducted TDS at 10%. But while filing the TDS return, he by mistake entered 15,000 instead of 25,000 in the amount paid and credit column instead of 25,000. So now the return is filed. Can he make changes? Yes. In this case, you will have to make changes in the deductee details that have to be changed. So let's see how to do it. So here are the steps. So the first step is you log into the Traces website. You go to the default request for correction. You enter the required details, that is the normal financial year, quarter, form, correction category, latest accepted, token number, and submit the request. Then you select the form type. The token number should be of the latest processed statement. That is important. Correction category selected should be online. Track correction request, click on view all, click on available, and do the KYC validation. This is how your screen will look. All right. In the type of correction, you have to, in this particular case, I will be selecting modify and add deductee details. In the last case, I had selected pay under 2001 LPA. So it depends. You have to select your whatever correction you're requesting. All right. Now go to all the deductees and put the PAN number of the deductee that you want to modify. So you put the PAN number and you search. You'll be able to see the details. Now, as you can see, the details have been populated, and over here, you have selected 15,000. Okay. So you go and select, you have to select the row and you have to select edit deductee row. Once you do that, it will allow you, the screen will open and you will be able to put the correct amount over here. So you put the correct amount. Click on save, submit correction, click on confirm, then click on correction ready for submission. Select the row, view statement, submit for processing, and you can check the status after the 3 working days. All right. Now, steps for online PAN correction. There could be cases where, there has wrong PAN has gone. So how do you correct it? So prerequisite over here is you need to register your digital signature on Traces website before making this correction. And you need to install WebSocket EM Signer, which normally we use for, verification of all the DSCs. The regular statement should be processed from Traces. So please keep in mind, if you're requesting for a PAN correction online, it has to be, the regular statement has to be processed from Traces and you're supposed to have a digital signature. Otherwise, you will not be able to make this type of correction online. So here are the steps to do the correction. First is you log into the Traces website. You go to the defaults, request for correction, enter the required details, financial year, quarter, form type, correction category, latest accepted token number, click on submit request. Then the token number should be of the latest process statement and the correction category you have to select is online. Then you select, go to defaults, track correction request, view all. Now, if the status is available, the correction request has been accepted. The statement is now available for correction. Click on hyperlink to do the validation screen and proceed with the correction that is required. If it is showing in process, the correction request is accepted and you're ready to work on the statement, click. So whether it is available or in process, you will be able to view and do the correction. In case if it is rejected, then you have to click on view rejection reason to check, why your request has been rejected. Now note, if the status is submitted, please wait for 24 hours to 48 hours for the status to change to available or in process. All right. So basically, I'm just showing you the steps over here. You have to, in the type of correction, you have to select PAN correction. All right. Then you click on view details. Once you click on view details, you will get 2 options, valid PAN or invalid PAN. Now, if you want to change the PAN, which originally you entered as invalid, then you obviously click on invalid PAN. In case if you want to change a valid PAN, then click on valid PAN. And accordingly, once you select, the list will appear. Once you do the selection, then select the row and enter the valid PAN in the field of change PAN. So you can see in this orange line, there is an option to change PAN. So you enter the details over there. And once you enter the details of the PAN, the name as per PAN will be auto-populated. If the PAN is invalid, a error message will appear. And if the PAN is valid, the action status will say saved. Click on submit to submit the correction statement. Now action summary will display the summary of all the correction, then click on confirm. So you'll be able to see whatever corrections you have done. Once you're okay with it, click on confirm. Now submit the request for processing, attach the digital signature of the authorized person. The system will generate a 15-digit digital code. You can check the status under the statement payment tab. So once you get the 15-digit token number, you'll be able to check the statement, the status of the statement, the correction that you have requested. So I'm done with my presentation. In case if you have any questions, I'll be happy to take them. Otherwise, we can, continue the session.
Hinal ma'am, firstly, thank you for taking us through all the practical aspects of everything related to TDS. I think this is perceived as very technical, and many people struggle with all these issues. So you have handheld and given a very detailed advice on how to go about the TDS corrections. So we do have a couple of questions. I'll just read them out for you. The first question is from Miss Medha. So she wanted to know if the TDS deductor, who's a tenant being a TDS
त्याच्यामध्ये
deductor,
बोलू नका ना ते मला बोलायचं नाही थोडंसं पुढे
if he fails to deduct tax, and but the receiver, who's the landlord, he has already paid the full tax on the total amount which is received, will the landlord still be responsible for the TDS which is not deducted?
No, he will not be responsible.
And there's a following question also, that is there a liability on the tenant for non-deduction if the landlord has paid full tax amount on his income?
Yes, so there is over here the tenant was supposed to pay the TDS. He has not paid, so he is in default. So in this case, there is no issue from the landlord, but maybe the tenant will get some notice from the government for not paying the TDS. And in case if he has paid the TDS and not, there could be a reason like maybe there is some issue with the PAN, the wrong PAN. Maybe the tenant had filed had submitted the TDS but had given the wrong PAN, or some correction could be required. So that correction or whatever liability is there is of the tenant and not of the landlord. Yeah, basically.
Right. And I think we've got multiple requests on if the on sharing the PPT, if that is possible, if you could share that,
So
I leave it
I'm
to
okay.
you.
Like we can speak with the technical team in case if they can share the PPT. But I think this podcast will be like this basically session will be available online, so you can watch it whenever at your convenience.
Right. Right. Um, the next question, ma'am, is from Miss Gracie. She wanted to know if unconsumed challans are old, how can we use them for later period payment?
So see, there are two types of challans. Like I had mentioned in my session, uh, traces has come from financial year 2007-8. So in case if there is any challan which is after this financial year, or 1st April 2010, if the challan is after that, only then you can use it online. Otherwise, before this, there was we used to file the returns offline. So in case if there is any challan which needs to be changed, or you need to claim a refund, which is before this period that I have mentioned, you'll have to go and request your AO. He can help you. And if it is other than any other challan, you'll be able to do it online.
There is no time limit for claiming refund, ma'am. Within how much time of
Um,
for using the challan or for claiming refund, both of them?
I'll have to check and get back. I'm not like very sure because mostly uh like people are very prompt at paying, and in case if there is any excess challan, it would not be for more than 2 or 3 years, because uh you know I assume the financials have to be closed, and you would come to know in a financial year, like in a period of 1 year or 2 years, you'll be able to know, and the you'll be able to correct it like 1 or 2 financial years, I think, the correction. And but if it is more than that, then there is something, you'll have to check with the AO if the correction is available.
Right. Thank you. The next question is from Ms. Ashwini. She has asked if that we have received an intimation under Section 154 for short deduction of TDS for Form 26Q.
Okay.
On traces, when we had requested for online TDS correction, TDS return correction, and checked for the short deduction, for
Hmm.
one of the entries, the reason was given as invalid PAN.
Okay.
So when we clicked the entry and clicked on edit and clicked on validate PAN without changing the PAN, we got the message valid PAN. What could be the reason for the intimation?
So over here, first of all, you'll have to check, why the PAN is invalid. Like you can go on your on the income tax website, and you can just check whether it is a valid PAN or it's an invalid PAN. And in case if it is a, like, whatever the outcome comes, uh, in my session, I had mentioned there's a whole process you need to do in case if you need to check this error. So you please follow those steps, and that will help you resolve this question. There's an entire process that you need to do for it.
And next question is from Miss Nidhi. She's asking if after the TDS return, the challan has been paid, but they forgot to file the return, and also the TAN has changed now. The
Hmm.
TAN number has changed. So what can be the possible solution for this?
So see, in case the TAN has changed, then you'll have to go to the AO. You'll have to, request him if he can change the TAN on the challan number. And since, the prior TAN was also of the company only, then obviously, the no objection letter will also be of the company only. And all these details, I think the AO would be having, because, if you request for a change in TAN, you would have made all those requests. So you take all these documents, go to the AO, meet him, and I'm sure he'll be able to change the TAN, and then you can use the challan.
Okay. Okay. Next question is from Miss Sujata. Is there any waiver of penalty available for Form 26QB delay, as most buyers are unaware of TDS provisions till the last installment?
No, there is no waiver available. I'm sorry.
Uh, how to correct 26QB challan where earlier payment of co-purchaser was mentioned and wrongly added to gross?
Okay, so in case of Form 26QB, it is a form which is very specific to a particular PAN number, where you have to give the deductor and the deductee's PAN number. That is, the purchaser and the builder. So, unfortunately, there is no option to correct this request online. You will have to go meet the AO, and I'm sure he'll be able to help you to make whatever changes you require. But online, this change is not possible.
Next question is tenant has received the notice for AY 23-24. Even now, if TDS is paid with interest, sorry, I think this is the follow up question. So, the first part is that if the landlord has paid taxes and TDS was not deducted by the tenant on rent above 50,000 per month for a house property,
Hmm.
tenant has received notice for AY 23-24.
Right.
And even now, if TDS is so now, even if TDS is paid with interest, benefit cannot be taken. Can you confirm this?
So for this, in this case, you have received your notice. You have to pay the TDS, correct? And then with the late fee and everything. Then after you do this, you may request the landowner if he can, give you the refund of that amount, because uh, the rent payment TDS that you have paid will be reflected against his PAN. So only the landlord can take the claim. You will not be able to take the claim. But now the landlord could also tell you that, I filed my returns and, how do I take the claim and all, because the financial year and everything will change. So in this case, we can at least, I would request him to go to the AO and try to figure out, the solution, because even if he makes the payment, I don't think the landlord will entertain it. So the best solution is that, you go visit the AO, you tell him that I've made the payment, and if he can help in, changing the financial year, and, maybe then the landowner can, take the benefit in the current year and, maybe return the money. So this is something which has to be done offline, and you'll have to go and visit the AO for it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. The next question is from Ms. Neetu Agarwal. Can TAN be changed in a challan if wrongly paid to another TAN?
Yes, you can do it. You'll have to follow the offline method. You'll have to go and meet the AO for the same.
Okay. And we have a follow-up question for the 26 QB correction.
Okay.
So she's asking if we have to go to the assessee's income tax assessing officer for the correction. So
Um,
26 QB correction, where do they have to go?
See, I'm not very sure because, practically I've not done. So I don't know whether, the income tax EU will be able to help you or no. But according to me, they would be able to help you because, this particular form, 26 QB, is between the two PANs. Like there is no TAN number which is involved. It is the form is filed on your PAN and not on your TAN number. So I think in this case, the income tax officer could help you. This is something which you'll have to practically do because I have not done it practically. But since it is a PAN based form, I'm sure the assessing officer may be able to help.
Another question from Ms. Sugna. She's asking if the client, her client, who's a company, has rented out a building and the tenant was deducting TDS and he deposited the same in the name of an individual director in the individual director's PAN. So how do they rectify this? The director has rejected this in his PAN.
Yeah, so basically, the tenant will have to go and change the PAN in the statements that he's filed. So whatever return he's filed, he'll have to go and change the PAN in his statement. And then the company will be able to claim it.
Right. Uh, Next, last question is from Ms. Ashwini. She's asking, we have downloaded the PAN master and see that the PAN mentioned in the TDS return is correct. Yet in the intimation, the reason given is invalid PAN. What can be done for this?
So in this case, you will have to meet the AO because this is a technical error. You've already checked it. So, otherwise I would have told you to double check it. But if it is a valid PAN, then there's a technical error and you'll have to meet the AO and sort it out.
I think those were the questions, ma'am, and thank you for answering all of them.
Thank you so much.
It's very helpful.
Thank you, Hinapuria ma'am. So we are having Ravi Patwa, sir, Vice Chairman of the committee with us. So we request for welcome address and introductory remarks.
Thank you, Ruchi ma'am. Well, we are currently doing the 54th webinar under Yashashwini series. This is the 54th webinar. I thank all the participants for this webinar. And of course, my gratitude goes to Hinal Furia madam for explaining the TDS defaults, the provisions under TDS, the TDS provisions under the Income Tax Act so aptly. Thank you very much, Nikita Mundra ma'am and Jinal Shah ma'am, for taking care of the first part of this webinar. And to the participants, of course, now we have a very, very interesting session on time management, which is something which all the women professionals have to, manage quite well. So we have Dipti Sharma, madam, who will
Hello.
be enlightening us on smart time management in the era of AI. Thank you very much, madam, for consenting to take up this session. And I also convey my gratitude to Komal Sawant, madam, and Priyanka Jadhav, madam, who have agreed to take forward this second part of the webinar. Thank you very much, friends. Thanks a ton. Over to the organizers.
Yeah, Priyanka ma'am.
Yes. Welcome all to the second session, Smart Time Management in the Era of AI. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The second session will be conducted by Ms. C.A. Dipti Sharma. She is a seasoned chartered accountant and a director in a financial service assurance with over 15 years of experience in big fours like EY and KPMG. She has done her specializations in auditing under Indian AS, IFRS, and US GAAP across banks, NBFCs, and broking firms and funds, with her key strengths in risk management, financial analysis, and client relationship management. I request CA Dipti Sharma ma'am to continue with the today's session. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Priyanka, and thank you for the kind words. Hello, everyone. I'd like to introduce myself as well. Am I audible, Priyanka?
Carry on, please.
Yes,
You are
yes.
audible.
Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, my name is Deepti. I have been in the auditing world for more than 15 years. I know my introduction is more of a technical this thing that I'm doing bank audits and NBFC audits across different gaps, etc. But I thought that this time management topic is also very important for us to cover, and especially, from a women, it is for women and by women kind of a session. From a personal introduction, I am a director from a professional this thing and doing my work. Along with that, I'm married. I have two kids.
No,
So
no.
the time management subject is also very close to my heart, and that is why I thought that I could take up this session and I could give my few bits on how I am currently coping up with this subject, being in the position where I have to manage my work and my personal life as well with kids, etc. So yeah, I think I'll share my screen. I've made a short PPT for all of you. Is my screen up?
Yes, it is up.
Okay. So yeah, so coming back to time management, and I will spend maybe a very few minutes on time management, and then the later part of that, how do we include AI in our daily activities, and how do we save our time? So what is time management? Everywhere we have, I think all of us would have attended a lot of sessions, maybe read some books on what is time management for each one of us. To each one, it's a little personal on how they manage their time based on the priorities. But of course, every person would tell you that, yeah, this is planning your time and you have 24 hours in a day, and how you could plan things and, bifurcate your time accordingly. For me, yes, that is important. But the best thing to manage your time is to prioritize. What are you prioritizing? What is the actual 10 things which you're supposed to do, which you can't do without? I think that is time management for me. Planning in advance how your day goes, maybe 1 day in advance, 2 day in advance. You're seeing your calendar for the working professionals, for, people who are doing their own businesses. Everywhere you would, of course, have to, in the morning or day before night, should prioritize like, okay, what do we want from the next day? What are these 10 things I want to achieve in the next day and work towards it? And I think that way we would be able to reduce our stress and increase the productivity, because we are able to achieve the top 10 or top 5 based on your personal assessment that we can achieve in the next day. If we are able to cover that, of course, at the start it'll be a little difficult, but as we go on, and we every night we say that, okay, these are the top 10 things which I want to cover tomorrow, and how am I going to allocate time for each one of these? If we are able to do that, I'm sure slowly and steadily, many people would be able to prioritize well and manage their time and reduce stress and improve their balance on how they want to cope up with their professional, personal, with their friends, with their colleagues, with their kids, with their coping up with the learning, which is something very important as a professional. It is not just what you're doing currently, it is also what you need to learn to, of course, go to the next level. So how you want to spend your time to rebuild yourself and engage yourself to do something better. So of course that is also very important. So these are the priorities maybe for me as I'm speaking, right? And how well you are able to allocate time, that is time management for me currently. Okay, as we go on to the next session, next slide, I wanted to give like a perspective on, everybody is talking about AI and yeah, you should use AI, etc., etc. Use these, for web this thing. So you can use Chat GPT and you can use XYZ to make your life better. But how do we do it, and why does it impact each one of us in our personal lives? We can't ignore AI anymore. Might as well use it to your better management of life, right? Because it is available to you for absolutely nothing. You are able to kind of ask questions, get answers. You're able to train your AI, and we'll come to all of those topics. But just to give you an overall view, the AI value creation by 2023, it is said that it is going to be somewhere between 13 to 22 trillion economy created by the AI businesses, right? That includes, of course, a small part from the generative AI also. But if you're seeing, from matches, IPL matches, to technical summaries, to making a robot, to answering questions, to making summaries, everywhere people are using AI, and doing their businesses, and they want to do better. So that is something which they're doing for business. How can you and me in your personal life, use AI and develop yourself to better manage your time, your effectiveness at workplace, at personal life, is something which I want to discuss. So that is why I start with what are the types of your AI, right? So there are two types currently, and the third type is in the making, which we'll talk about. There is, of course, first the artificial narrow intelligence. We all generally in AI world call it ANI, which is your already developed kind of softwares, which is like a robo, or a machine cleaning your house, and how well it connects, and things like that, which is already there. Okay, like Alexa or something in a Apple phone, that okay, hi, if they want to answer. So that those are your artificial narrow intelligence, because they would only be able to communicate or answer your questions to the limited data and knowledge they have, right, in their software. Otherwise they'll not be able to answer, or they say, okay, we do not understand. The next thing is generative AI. Generative AI is something like a Chat GPT kind of a web, this thing which you can use to ask. And also, if you repeatedly keep on asking and giving the right prompts and asking the right questions, with a lot of, say, filters and things like that, you'll be able to generate better answers, better, you'll be able to train better, and hence the output from the generative AI websites, etc., would be much better for you, right? So I think what we artificial narrow intelligence is for you to choose, because it's already available in the market. You want to buy Alexa, you want to buy something, that is up to you. But generative AI currently, of course, it's absolutely free. Everybody can use Chat GPT or similar web like that, and you can generate like and your images, your answers, summary, etc. And I want to show you today, take this time to how you could do it in a better way, right? Sorry, before I move to this, I also wanted to cover the another type of AI which is coming up and which has not yet come up is the artificial wide intelligence. Artificial wide intelligence is, of course, I don't know, 50 years away or 100 years away, but it is told that like that would be something, AWI would be something which could do all possible things which like a human does currently. So we are going to that level. Of course, there's no need to, panic. And there are a lot of conversations around, okay, AI is being used for negative things, etc., etc. But I think our focus is not on that today. Our focus is more to discuss that what can we do in today's era and world to help ourselves, to better our life and better manage our time. Okay, so here the next slide is very interesting because it covers like all the functions currently. CAs are involved in all kinds of roles, be it in a manufacturing company, in a recruiting company, in a marketing, maybe not agriculture, especially obviously in audit. So I wanted to cover maybe all the types of functions to just give you a brief idea of how AI is currently people are using it, for their benefit and how they are currently progressing, which maybe that would give you an idea that okay, also you are also working maybe in a similar setup, not maybe in a similar setup, but how can maybe you imbibe certain things out of that and maybe make your lives better, right? Now the most important, and that is why I've put a big circle around data, is that you should have a good amount of data so that you could use that to your benefit and and how you can do better. Say for example, you're in sales, right? And in a sales function, the data would be, say, a past 5 year data on who are your clients, who are your biggest clients, what is the work, which is their closest connect. When an X person talks to a Y person, does the deal crack, does the deal not crack? You have a lot of data which will be already there for you, right? It is just bringing together at one place and utilizing that which are the top three or four pointers or the relationship things which you can identify, which says that okay, always these are the things which help a particular team in connecting with a client or things like that, and we need to do that more often, right? So if I'll just give you a normal example. So when we are saying that okay, we have the data of 1,000 people whom say a data caller has to call and ask for a credit card, right? Now the percentage of a CXO, like a CFO, CEO, or somebody higher in the system buying a credit card vis-a-vis say a executive or who has just started buying a credit card would be lower, right? Or as the probability may be. By using AI and by using that field, it can give in minutes, it can analyze the data path worth years, and it can tell you that okay, this is the way, that should be your main sales pitch, and this is the sales points where you should focus at, and these are the 10 people where you should focus at to convert your sales. So that is something which is useful, and that could lead to better sales and improve target lines, right? So that is one of the things. Something in manufacturing, right? Manufacturing would have a line, and at the end of manufacturing there would be a review, right? That with the line manager, that okay, all the products are fine, not fine. Rather than people and employing and so many hours and things like that, AI could do it in minutes. It could just capture the image of the particular final product, and it can tell okay, is this correct, it's not correct, there are scratches or bumps, or because you could already feed in the AI system that this is the final product which should look like, these are the dimensions, this is the quality. If it is not able to identify, it can come up with rejections very quickly, and the work which somebody was supposed to do in long period of time, which would take long hours, would get converted very easily, right? So this is another example which you could use. The third is say recruiting. Right now, all of us for our offices, for we have interviews to do. We have to recruit a lot of people. Now the normal process is that okay, we say put up on a this thing that this is the position open, and a lot of CVs come, and you have to go through a lot of CVs, call everyone, take first the HR round, then take another round, and then finalize. This is the general thing that happens. Rather than that, if you had a machine which could understand, which is you could predefine that, okay, these are the top 10 things you want in a candidate out of hundreds of resume, it could give out with a non-bias that these are the 10 CVs which in a nutshell approve of basically all of the pointers, and those are the ones then you can focus on first and you can identify your candidates, right? So this is how people are kind of using um, their data and of the past and utilizing it to something which they can apply for their future sales, for future recruiting, for future marketing and things like that. I think another example we can also take is, of course, say audit, right? Last, I use that a lot. So if you have a lot of data, right, you could analyze. This would not only help you do your audits better, it could also help you give some management, kind of review comments to them that, okay, we have identified these things and these could be the things which where you could do better, or we have identified these analysis and this is good. So for example, if you have I generally audit like banks and we have the customers data, right? We tell them that, okay, there are so many loans where approval is given to a customer which with exceptions. So ideally, a credit policy of a bank would have that, okay, if these 10 things are there, the KYC is okay, the risk management is okay, the security is okay, we can give a loan at an X rate, but only if there is some exemption, then you know how the exemption process goes on, right? If we see that, okay, a lot of approvals are happening with with exceptions, right? And we can also relate that okay, maybe this is the reason for your provisions going up, or the default rate going up. Then the management could use that okay, maybe because we should not allow so many of loans going up with exceptions, right? This is only a basic example. Something similar, we can also use AI and different things that, okay, we are already inputting how quarter on quarter we are assessing the ratios of a particular financial statement, right? The debt equity ratio or the cap add ratio or any other ratio, that these are the 15 ratios we want to assess from a financials perspective. And AI would, if you just input the data, the AI would calculate automatically and give you a result, and then you could analyze better. So all of these things, once you know what you want to do, you identify and you have the data, you can put it in the system. You can give the command, the correct command, and what I called it is the correct filtered command, and it would help you give out some analysis which you can work on. The last example maybe of, you have lesser time and there is a lot of technical stuff to read. You have like, 300 pages of a guidance note to read, or etc. You could easily ask, on a particular website like this that, okay, I'm interested in, say, the audit of this particular topic and I want to know this particular thing. And if you are auditing that area at that time, it would give up only the summary of that part of, the guidance note, and it'll tell you that these are the five things which, or 5 pages, or pointers which you should be taking care of. And life becomes easy, right? You don't have to read all of those 300 to 400 pages. You could only read those 5 to 6 pages which are relevant, the area you're auditing and things like that, and it can help you with your job function. Any questions till now, or should we have questions till the end of the session? Oh, okay, I think I can move on. Okay, so this is the topic I think we'll spend the most time on, because I want you guys to, carefully understand how you can use. So of course you can use generative AI for a lot of time management. What does it do, right? So what all things you need to consider, and what are the examples which you can do from a daily life? Say you're working in a office, and what are the things you can use AI for, right? First is, and the most important thing is, answer to your questions. Make it a personal assistant, guys. So you can ask from where what is the time for this, or what time or what things you should read, or what book to read for an X case, which section of which law, IT law, you want to understand, and you could give a summary. um, if you want to know about a particular topic, I like reading about ASC 326. So, which are the new books or anything somebody has published which you can read, it will answer all your questions, right? So you just need to put the correct prompt and use it like a kind of an assistant for you, that you would type in the question and it would respond that, okay, XYZ, and I can give you a maybe a example later by actually opening the web and showing you. The next point is technical summary, I think, which I already talked about in a little brief earlier. Um, Very, very useful. I'm not saying it's an option to actually reading the whole, things sometime when you have time, but when actually you are in a, nick of time and you don't have, you have a deadline on your head, etc., and there's something new which has come up, right, which is applicable for you, you could understand that technical summary. You can upload that particular data on your, approved websites of your office or something, and then you can ask that, okay, this is the thing which you want a summary of, which are the 10 things which you should note when this circular or this regulation has come in, and how it can help you. Of course, you need to go back to the regulation, you need to read carefully as well. It is not an option not to read, but at least it will give you the pointers on how to at least go and start with that particular topic, and understand that, okay, these are the five things which you need to see, or five data points you need, and then maybe once you're working on, you can slowly and steadily read the entire thing, and then apply your knowledge and get to the answer. The other thing is memo writing, which is also very useful, and we all use it in our day-to-day activities, as to like, okay, this is the question and subject. What are the true and for and against comments against it, that we have seen some case laws for an X thing or a Y thing, saying whatever was the judgment earlier, and what is your conclusion on thing. So if you tell AI that, okay, can you make a memo for this subject, considering XYZ cases, considering this is the relevance of your case, it would give up a proper memo and writing to you. Of course, you need to read that and you need to edit it as per your personal customization as to what you need to add and how you need to do. But within minutes, you would generally take like 1 or 2 days to entirely draft the memo, write it properly, etc. But a service of AI would help you write that memo in like say 5 minutes, which would take a lot of your time. Right. The next thing, very easy to implement, is email drafting. All of us sometimes face, okay, we are writing an email to a senior person. How do we need to write? We need to formulate it very, it should look very professional. It should, we should, how I should write. So we can say, hi, can you help me draft an email with respect to this for X approval from this thing? And I am writing this mail to, say, the CFO from a manager. Can you help me draft it? AI would, with dear and best regards, till that it will give you the complete email drafted within seconds, and you could use it for your email drafting perspective. It is not only to us, like senior, it could also be to a client, but you need to, of course, whatever you are using from a drafting perspective, you need to read it carefully, you need to edit it a little bit as per your personal understanding, what needs to change, and it will help you draft that, right? The next thing is creating presentations. Again, very, very easy. If you say, okay, to ChatGPT that I want a presentation, say on, a next topic, say tax saving, this thing, or a company law, or on, credit reviews, on bank audits, or on, India's 9, or anything like that, right? It will help you with creating presentations that, okay, I want to cover in, say, India's 9, I want to cover the credit risk, I want to cover recognition XYZ. Could you help me make a presentation on this? And it will help it will help you, it will ask a few questions and it will help you make. And I'll give you a recent example. Yesterday I was just asking AI that, okay, I want to teach my daughter jolly phonics, right? And can you help me with presentation and worksheets for that? And AI gave me an entire list of 4 structured, presentations, and told me, do you also want it in a PDF to download so that you can use it? And also the, time by time, this thing, kind of a timetable which I can also work out and give it to you so that you can use it to, teach. And that was wonderful because I did not have any book, I did not have any this thing, but in few minutes I have the entire content ready, of the phonics topic, and the presentations with the worksheets, everything was ready, and I just have to use it now, right, to teach. So this was something like in 5 minutes I could utilize it, and save a lot of time. And the last not lost is, of course, creating images. You could say that, okay, I'm making a banner for an X sales page, and I want it to look like that, or my presentation to look like that. So, AI, can you generate an image showing, XYZ things on the image? And it will actually, in the whole of, web, it would search that, and whatever is the best suited image for your particular presentation or memo, or it will, or you want to create a marketing, banner or something like that, it will help you create that within minutes. You do not need any specific design team, etc. You could do it on your own, on your own laptop. So that would help save a lot of time. Now it all sounds very easy, that okay, I just give a prompt, and it, comes out with a lot of good, things and data, and how do you actually use it? The key is, many people actually find it a little, confusing, that okay, I'm asking an X thing, and it is actually giving me so much of information. I rather read, the 300 pages rather than going through so much of information, right? So the key lies in how, on the right side of my PPT, the personal customization, right? It's generative AI, guys, right? So you need to personally customize it to your, wanting of how you want the output to be, right? So the input has to be the correct filtered input, right, as I called it earlier, so that there is a good personal customization, and hence you get the output as per your, requirements. Say for example, we are writing an email, right? So the first point, the tone of the email, right? So we have to, if we mention on chat gpt, okay, the tone of the email has to be professional, since we are writing to a senior, to a junior, xyz, it would automatically, draft the email that way, and you would not have to worry about, or re-prompt AI with, okay, no, give me another, draft, another draft, not like that, because you already told, okay, the tone of the email has to be formal, and things like that. So it will able to help you generate that. One second. Yeah. Similarly, on the formality, right? If it's a formal email or it's an informal email, you want to write an email to a client, which is, so you need to be very formal. If you're writing to your boss, you need to be very formal. Okay, if you're just writing to your juniors, you just want an update. So what is the formality level? So you can utilize in the prompt, like you can say, okay, it needs to be like a formal email, it could be a casual email to a friend, okay, it could, something like that. And then based on the formality and your customization, it will draft the presentation or the memo or the email, and then you could utilize it. Again, something is the depth. The depth is something you want, a presentation, like a detailed presentation, or you want the memo to be like a 2-page memo, like a summary, or you want like a 40-page, 50-page, like complete analysis of this thing, right? Again, that depends on your want, right? Like, what do you want? You can put that input, and you can say, okay, I want a detailed summary of an X book, of how it would impact, say, a X topic, right? And then it would give you that particular this thing. So for my example, right, what I used for my daughter, I said that, okay, you can give me a curriculum for at least, 10 to 12 weeks, of which you can. So it bifurcated it into 4 parts, and it told me, okay, you can per week, you can take two topics, and you can cover it within a week of 18 to 20 weeks, as I told as I put the input in ChatGPT. So it accordingly helped me. And if I said that, okay, I would have told that, okay, I want like a full year course. It would have given me that as well. But I selected that I want like a 18 to 20 week kind of a course length, which I could use to teach my daughter, right? So that is how it could, personalize to your satisfaction, and you could actually then use the, output to your benefit. The next one, of course, is the role and who's the audience. So what is the role and the audience? So for example, the role is, as I said earlier, like you're writing to the CXOs or your seniors, so that's the role you're writing to. And who's the audience on the other end? If you're writing to, say, um, a host of people, you're just writing to one person, you're writing to an entire department. So based on that, the email drafting or the presentation, etc., changes. And last but not the least is the language complexity. You want it casual, you want it define like English, complex English to be used for certain things because you want it in a certain way. You could of course prompt AI, and you could tell that, okay, this is the way I want it, and then you could utilize it to your benefit. So by saying all of these things, I'm just saying that this is the way you can just help manage some of the time. We sometimes spend half an hour to, draft a particular email. Okay, have we put all the points or not? Have we correctly addressed the person or not? Have we properly written regards, thank you or not? AI will take care of all of these things, and rather than the best thing about this is rather than being the preparer, now you're the reviewer, right? So you are reviewing the thing which you would have to draft by your own self. So with the 30 minutes would be just hardly 2 minutes where you're just putting all the pointers and you're telling, okay, you give me an email draft. You could copy it, which is the best. You could copy it and you could paste it to whichever, email you're using, and you could paste it, and your draft is ready. Right. So that is something which I thought would be very helpful. Now I think I can take you guys through like one of the live examples on how to use that, and we could, I'm not able to minimize. Okay. Is my screen still visible? I hope. Yeah. Okay. So for an example, I asked, can you suggest a good book for Indian tax laws? Right? This was a very vague question, and I just wrote like a one-liner, can you suggest a good book for Indian tax laws? Now it because I did not say I am a student, or I am a professional, or I am, say, a tax person, it has given me options of, for students and CA aspirants, what should be the textbooks which I should use. Right? For the professionals, okay, this is the tax, maybe because it's more detailed and things like that. For legal practitioners, because they want to use that, how to use a particular section and interpret it. So these are the particular books which it has referred. Now if I for the same thing, if I say, hello, I am a CA aspirant, and I need to re- and kindly refer a good book for Indian tax laws for understanding the concepts clearly. Okay, if my prompt is a little detailed, then it is telling me, okay, hi, since you are a CA aspirant, the Taxman's Guide to Income Tax by Vinod Singhania is the best book for you. We all know it's a very big book. And why is it great, right? So it is written, it will tell you that why you should select. So it is written, it is a very simple and conceptual manner, includes a lot of illustrations, solve problems, latest provisions from the Finance Act, widely used by CA inter and final students. So these are the things. And then it is also telling, okay, what are the bonus picks, right? So for when you want to go a level deeper, then what you should follow, and so on and so forth. Okay, so this was just an example of how you could use, the Chat GPT function. It's available for nothing, for free, and you could all, use it on your laptops and understand that, how you can use it. Uh, the next thing I want to talk about is basically inculcating, right? How you are, which is very important. We all know that, okay, yeah, we could do this X or Y, but actually going and trying it out, maybe it will take like, 3 or 4 prompts, 5 prompts to understand, to build it. But just the habit of, getting into understanding, using the functionalities available. And it's not just ChatGPT, there are a lot of AI web, this thing like that, which can help you, with very detailed other things to make presentations that are specific. AI tools for writing memos. There are specific AI tools for marketing, for video development. There are specific AI tools. So all in all, so that, though I'm not telling you any names, but it's just the utilizing it in your day-to-day life, and understanding, how, where you can use it, so that, your life becomes easy and you're able to manage time well. That is something which, I wanted to consider, and tell you guys. If you have any questions on, or if you want to answer that from a personal perspective, how I could help to manage, like, or help with an example that what you could do to manage your time. Happy to, for any questions, anything.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Thanks our wonderful speaker, C. Dipti Sharma ma'am, for apprising us, and also my gratitude to all taking time to join the session and making it successful. Thank you, ma'am.
Are there any questions, Komal?
I'm moving toward these questions. Let me check. Uh, no, there is no question. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, anyone has any question?
I could please ask.
Hello. There's a one question from Vandana Magila. Though AI is making tasks and work easily, there are no doubts, but there is any possibility that person will lose his job or work or job. AI is replacing job.
So, I think there is a I don't think so. It's replacing job. I think your job profile is shifting maybe because of AI, right? So now the job was where job was earlier to do maybe manual stuff and manual things. You could do much more. So nobody's. I don't think so. The jobs would be left. That's my personal opinion. But I think you'll be shifting jobs. So the way now, as I was saying that, earlier you were a preparer of something and now you're reviewing. So most of us would move to that level that, okay, we are prompting and we are getting an output and we are utilizing that to our benefit. And that could, make the progress at an overall level at a much faster pace, right? So all of us, that is why it's important, as I said in the start, that we need to inculcate and use AI to our benefit. Like many of the people are already using it, and make our lives better.
Yeah. There is a question from Medha Parth Sarthi. She is asking, how does one rely on AI results?
That is a very good question, and that was something I wanted to cover as well. So thank you for asking that, Meda. Yes, it is a little bit tricky, and if you note, if you ask the same question to AI in two or three different ways, it could always give you the different answer. So that is why the prompt or input which you give to AI has to be very, specific on what do you want and what do you read. And at the end, definitely you need to, go back to the main section of what it is telling you and read carefully the output and edit it if required to your, fitment, I would say, and then utilize it. Right. So I would tell, okay, if it is giving you a summary that, okay, can you please summarize a 400-page document to a summary of like, 2 pages? Yeah, it will give you those 2 pages. That's something where you could start from. So rather than spending the first, time on actually reading through the whole thing, maybe you do not require at this point in time to read the 400 pages, right? You just need those 5 or 10 pages which are relevant for you at that time. So why don't you just spend your time on that particular section, on that particular page, and complete your job? So then it would depend on you that how you can, use it, and the output could be fitted to your requirement basically.
Medha is asking further, like, how can how can one rely on AI results since the data on which it relies is insufficient time?
Insufficient.
Yeah.
Okay, I have not come across it is insufficient, but of course it would not be 100% ready thing which you could get. You would always get in various cases from anywhere from between 70 to 90%, 95% also maybe sometimes. And you could utilize it, you could use that draft, like you could begin with that. Then rather than beginning from zero, you could begin at 70% or 80%, edit it to your requirement, whatever you wanted to enter, and things like that, and then use the output for your requirement, or however you want to send. You want to make a presentation, you want to make a memo, you want to write an email. So that would depend on how you are using it. Of course it will not be 100% this thing, but that is where the machine learning comes in and the generative AI comes in. If you are good with the input, you are setting the tone appropriately, you're setting the content appropriately, you're setting up the who is the audience to which you need the output for. I think most of the times it would give you a 85-90% correct result.
Okay, the next question is from Pooja Agrawal. She's asking, beside ChatGPT, what other good options will you recommend?
So actually, I am not here to recommend ChatGPT, something like a very common name, and that is why I could use it at an ICI event. But generally, nowadays, companies have developed their own, similar ChatGPT webs, which you could utilize. If not, this is a good thing to start with. If you ask ChatGPT again, which is the best, tool, if you want to make a presentation, it will give you. If you want to make like a video, it will tell you. So you could start by asking that maybe, and how you could use it. But yeah, I'm not here to name any other web. But yeah, generally in offices you have something which is specific for your use, because you can't use Chat GPT, of course, because of the confidentiality and things. You can't upload um, your client's data and things like that on the chat gpt server. It's not confidential, right? So you could only use it for like general things or technical things which are already available on the platform, on like guidance and indices or something like that, right? Which is already available on the platform, you could utilize for that.
Okay, Rekha is asking, can you share the screen and show simple uses like asking the book name for income tax? She need a practical illustration on that.
Okay. So I said, can you please suggest, is my screen visible, right?
Yeah, it's visible,
Suggest
but she wants to share the screen.
oh, she wants to share the screen. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
right. She wants to
Okay.
share the screen.
Okay.
No, she's asking you to share the screen.
Okay.
That you show that example of tax book name.
Okay. I just showed that actually. 1 second. So I was just giving the difference between a good input and a bad input. So at the start, I just said that can you suggest a good book for Indian tax laws? And it said absolutely within a second, and it said that these are the books and some excellent choices depending on your expertise and purpose. Because I did not give the purpose, and I did not give my expertise level, and I did not give the audience. So it gave me just a generic list of options. They say, for example, for CA students and aspirants, the taxman guides to income tax by Vinod Singhania is the like one of the great options. And this is by another direct taxes law and practice, another book for if you're a professional, income tax law and practice by Gaur and Narang. If you are a legal practitioner, then which books you should use, so on and so forth, right? But when I actually gave the prompt as hello, as I am a CA aspirant and kindly refer a good book. I'm sorry. Yeah. Sorry, yeah. So when I gave like a proper prompt with my correct, or like I'm audience a CA aspirant who wants to actually understand the concepts, and that is why it is asking for a good reference for an Indian tax law book. So it could correctly give me, you need to read this book and why it is great for you, because it includes, illustrations. The concepts are explained in a very simple language. It is updated with the latest provisions of the Finance Act, and it is actually also used by a lot of students in the past, etc. And that is why, you should use that particular book. I hope this was what you were asking for. So this was an example of a good and a, improvised prompt, basically.
There
Or-
are no further questions.
Okay.
So, anyone has any question, please raise. Nothing, so there is no question.
Okay, I think thank you then. Thank you everyone for your time and listening to the session. Thank you, Komal. And if you have any questions, you could always, you could reach out to me also. And if I am able to
Yeah,
help somebody for managing their time, I'm grateful if you could, utilize it in your personal life and maybe get a help out of it.
thank you, Dipti.
Uh, Komal, am I okay to log off?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you.
Bye. Thank you. Yes.